Welcome to Align Trading, going over today's SPY recap and live analysis. So first thing in the morning that I explained in the pre-market brief for Discord members was to be watching for the 20-day moving average, as that was going to be the key if we were able to break down and start attacking the gap, or if we were able to form a structure off of it and move higher to form the larger handle that I explained in yesterday's video. If you haven't seen that, you can go watch it. But we explained that we may need to build more liquidity before we do head down. And you can see right here, this did take the entire day to form this handle right here, but eventually we did form it. And you can see how we're possibly building a handle right here, but we have to lose that 20-day moving average. Now, in the case that we do not form that in the morning and remain above the 20-day, well, we can see how this starts to form right here with this tapering that you can see within the blue. And we also have this yellow, so pay attention to that tomorrow. I'll talk about this more later. So now I'm going to go to the 1-minute chart and we'll start explaining what this looked like in the morning for this move up within the handle, and then how this started to break down throughout the end of the day. Now on the 1-minute chart, going over the microstructure and algorithms. So as I was explaining how we never were below the 20-day off the open, it was around this level right here, and we instantly had this green buying algorithm right here that starts to bring us up. There was never any sort of head and shoulder right here for an early dump to start attacking that gap. In the case that that was what was happening, right, with aggressive sellers, we did not see that. And then from here with this green, we see this blue and yellow controlled selling right here, and you could have taken this for a scalp. Again, we had jobs in the morning at 10 a.m. So if you were not trading before this, I understand that as well. From here, once again, there is this move up, and then we have this yellow and blue controlled selling that you see right here with this inverse head and shoulder. You can see that cup and that micro handle right here. Once again, another entry, but it is not much room to the upside, and we do see this white tapering algorithm starting to form here. So right here, you can see how I'm explaining if you are looking for the short play here, you need to see this starting to form. And I explained it right here after this move up. If we see this shoulder back below that 20-day moving average right here, then we can look for the short. And you also see how there's this liquidity right here. So within the white, we start to grind up a bit higher, but you see how with that noose, we grab this shoulder right here and get that sell off. Now, we never close this inverse cup, and we never form a shoulder or any resistance below this 20-day moving average. As you see, we instantly head back up, and we start to build this inverse head and shoulder back off this level. Now, this is not the clearest trade to the upside because we do have this tapering right here that we're looking for, but you can see how I explained if we do start to form this right here, what do we need to see to confirm it? It is going to be below that 20-day moving average. So like I explained here with this handle, if it started to build this head and shoulder off of that level and wanted to head down, well, that is what we would want to see, right? With no loss of that 20-day moving average and this inverse head and shoulder that I explained right here, you also can see how we formed a cup back to this previous resistance, and then from here form this handle with the blue, and you see that inverse head and shoulder. Now we are looking for us to gain support off this 553.20 level right here, and right here it looks like we are going to form a head and shoulder, but once we close this inverse cup back to this level, we never see that handle and grab the shoulder back to the downside, and then ultimately that 20-day moving average that we are looking for. So we could have closed this larger cup and then headed down. Now here off of that 553.20 level, you can see we have this controlled selling right here, and we never continue down with that orange. And you see how we form this inverse head and shoulder off of it right there. So that could have been another trade to the upside if you were looking for that. Now, I personally did not take any of this to the upside, even with the controlled selling and stuff like this that we see right here. And I'm going to kind of explain why. So the first reason is I do not like this price action right here. I do not want to be entering in this, even with this structure that forms right here being this cup and handle. I do not like this tapering that I'm seeing right here, it is towards the top. Why would I take this entry with the 20-day moving average just sitting below right here? All it takes is this to form right here, and there we go, we're going down, and this position was just a terrible trade. You see what I'm saying? Now, with this also tapering right here, we are also about in the middle of the range for what I am looking for, and I'm going to explain what I mean here. So as you can see on the 30-minute chart, we are building this handle, and I know that there is probably going to be some resistance towards this 555 area right here. So at that 553.20, I am not really interested in trying to catch this to the upside after we already had a move up off that 20-day moving average. It is just chasing, and you're going to see why this is not what you want to be doing, and how if you are patient, it'll end up forming what you're looking for. So you can see right here that if we do gain back above this level right here, well, maybe we do have some upside and we form some sort of shoulder right here, then it changes. Otherwise, we can be looking for this head and shoulder right here. You see how we have this move up towards that 555. We didn't quite reach it, but we do start to form this right here, and you see how we form that head and shoulder, and then eventually at that 20-day moving average right here. So how that looked on the 1-minute chart right here, you can see how we started to form this resistance right here. We have this head and shoulder. You can see this inverse cup and that handle right here. We have this larger shoulder, once again, another inverse cup, and we can see that handle. And then we start to grab this liquidity below this level right here, which was a good trade if you did take this to this next inverse cup level. And then from here, we start to form once again another handle, as you can see within this pink, and we try to break down, but right here we form this inverse cup again. We lack the handle to break below that level. Same thing right here, another inverse cup. We lack this handle. We're unable to break below this white level, and it takes quite some time. So as I'm saying, with taking quite some time, you can see how we just continue to not break down below this level, and it is not until this point right here. But I explain that if you are looking for this reversal, what needs to form right here is the cup back to this level right here. And then from there, if you see this blue controlled selling, and we form an inverse head and shoulder, and then once again close the cup back at this level right here, and see that same thing once again. Otherwise, you can continue watching for this handle that's building right here within this white, and then we see this pink tapering once again, and we have this head and shoulder that starts to form right here, and this inverse cup. So you see that inverse cup right there. We have this head and shoulder, once again another inverse cup, and this handle. You see that head and shoulder, another inverse cup and handle, and then a head and shoulder. But with these, there is just no follow through, right? It just takes so long, and every time it hits it, it just has that bounce. Every sell is followed by a bounce today. That's kind of what was going on. Now, while this is going on right here, I explained what you have to be watching for on the 30-minute chart. You can see how we start to build this nested head and shoulders right here, and you see that move down off of it, and we end up closing this inverse cup right here. So with this move down right here that finally ended up breaking through this white level, we can see how we close this inverse cup. We start to build this handle right here, and off of it we have this head and shoulder. But even with these beautiful structures, there's just not much follow through. We're not attacking that 20-day moving average aggressively. We're not trying to head down through the gap, right? We continue to build another handle right here, and here we form another head and shoulder. We have another inverse cup right here in this handle. But even then, with all that is forming right here, you can see it is just not attacking it aggressively, right? We form this head and shoulder here once again, but the follow through is just lackluster, and we are unable to really break down right here. You see this support forming. Now, with the lack of the follow through here, you can see how we're forming this inverse head and shoulder, as well as this cup and handle at the end of the day, and form this back off that 20-day moving average to close this cup back at this level. So now we'll go over what to be watching tomorrow, and a little bit more about what I was explaining at the beginning of the video, with this possible tapering right here that we can see with the blue and yellow, along with that 20-day moving average if it becomes support. So if this does start to form right here, we may not start here in the morning. We may have a gap up, but understand if that happens, we'll want to see the cup close to this level. And then from there, if we start to form another inverse head and shoulder, maybe we start to head back up and test some of these levels up in here. Understand this 555. So if we do want to build another structure like this and head back down with a larger handle, we can do so. As you see, this green algorithm right here can build that handle within this. Maybe we even head back up here and start to build this over the next few days into Friday. Now you can see that this 5-day moving average is right here. So in the case that we do want to head back up with a good Friday report, well, we can start to build this right here and we can grab that liquidity off that 5-day moving average. And up here, if we do want to form something like this and close the cup back up to that 563, now, in the case that we do head down still and close this gap right here, we will want to see that 20-day moving average becoming resistance and get below this level right here. And in that case, you can look for us to close this gap with the orange selling continuation. And then from there at the gap, we could look for something like this to form. You could see support and then a shoulder back off this 5-day moving average and this liquidity right here, and then start heading up from there. Now here on the daily chart, we can see, right, we are below this 5-day moving average. In order for this to confirm a downtrend, we need to see it cross below, and we also have to lose this 20-day moving average initially. And if we do not, then we can form this support right here. You see how the 20-day moving average forms as support, and we can continue to head up off of it. So we can grab that liquidity, regain the 5-day, and then continue the uptrend. And then to the downside, right, if we do close this gap right here and then we cannot get any buyers and get back above that 20 and 5-day moving average, it crosses below, we can look for this inverse cup right here and start to see a shoulder, and then we can look for this bottom Bollinger retest as it trends up. Now, these will not be achieved by tomorrow or anything, but it's just preparing you ahead so you understand what is going on in the longer term view here. But that will wrap up the video for today. So thank you everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see members in the morning. Thank you.